He is not a man. God does not have the same response
But
that
correct me if I'm
man
wrong. He
has.
knows what you're thinking before you even say it.
What's up, y'all? Before we get into this lit Q&A between me and my sister, just about all random things life, we were getting some time in while she was getting me together. And so, as I do in typical Jamaica fashion, we're just throwing out questions. I love to take time whenever I am alone with somebody new, somebody familiar, somebody I love, somebody I roll and ride with, to get into their thoughts, to understand more beyond what we all share on the surface. And so in this Q&A, we get into some details of some things that just trigger us in life. But before we get into those details, I want to drop some personal details. There are just some things that aren't noted in the video that I want to make known before we get into the Q&A. This is my sister. Yes, you see her with her cute bun and her laid edges. I mean, what edges? But you see them edges. They are cut to the T, okay? My sister is Branisha Rivera, formerly known as Branisha Lewis, because sis is married. Yes, got the rock on her finger. Yes, they made a commitment before the Lord. Her husband's name is Eric, and he is El Salvadorian, and they have 2 children together, an 18-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter. My sister is all things creative, all things get you fly, all things she on fleek. She is never not giving us something new. Oh, hold on, wait now. Y'all saw that? Y'all see who just dropped down below? What's up, ma? I think she's straightening out the shoes right now. That's why she right by my feet. But get into it. You see her? Sis is shining. Her head is so cute. She's over the bald head. But until chemo is through, we just gonna keep it that way. And yes, I said chemo. My mother was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer in July of 2021. While we are recording this video, it is October. And while you're watching this video, it is December. And guess what? She is still here. We've had surgery to remove all the tumors, and she is just looking fabulous. Testimony, praise reports, all that good stuff is on the way. So let's get into my sister now. Branisha was a teenage, that's part of her story. She's a teenage mom, guys. She had her first son at 16 years old. And I have been baffled, amazed, astonished, inspired by how she has risen above every single season and circumstance of life and still remains so vulnerable and open and loving to everybody that she encounters, even people that have hurt her. I'm amazed at how she just rises above the situation, and how, as I'm a new mom with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, I ask her so many questions because I was 26 when I became a mother, and it was still so many things I was unsure of. So to have your first child at 16 and still graduate, and even right now in this present day, be a nurse that is caring for other children in the pediatrics unit, but also to be a fitness trainer, to be a makeup artist, and to be a hairstylist. I'm just like, how do you find time to tap into all those talents? But she does it, and she does it so well. Ever since I can remember, she made sure I kept my life in order and together. So this is my sis, the second oldest of us all, and what I like to say, the bright side of the bunch. So let's get into this lit Q&A so y'all can learn a little more about us.
Speaking of heart, are you going Dutch when you're dating? Do you know what go Dutch mean?
No.
To go Dutch means the woman pays for the date. Are you going Dutch when you're dating? And when I say dating, let's set the scene. In my opinion, dating means we are not living together, we are not engaged, we are not married. We're at that stage of, it's a title, meaning boyfriend, girlfriend. That's the normal terms, boyfriend, girlfriend. The title is boyfriend, girlfriend. Okay? The title is boyfriend, girlfriend. We don't live together. And we're not going to put a time on the dating. It could have been fresh. It could have been however long.
Man, you have to hold your head.
The point is that you're not living together and you're not married or engaged. Are you paying for a date or the dates?
You mean me pay for all the dates or some of the dates, or?
It's whatever context you're taking it in. So
I think that, if you're dating or whatever, I don't see why, we can take turns. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Taking turns. but I don't think that a woman should pay for every date.
Yeah.
I think it should be more like, you know, taking turns or whatever. I mean, you're dating, you're still trying to get to know this person, you know what I mean? I think sometimes if we just automatically go in and it's like, oh no, he paying for everything, oh no, he gonna pay for this, oh no, he gonna pay for that, I think that kind of just turns off, you know what I'm saying? It turns off a man, because then of course you know how sometimes they may think like, oh, she think I'm paying for everything,
Right.
oh no, she gonna give me something if I'm paying for everything, you know what I mean?
Well, okay. Another point. What we're not going to do is try to make an excuse or a reason that because you're paying for things, you're guaranteed to getting in my pants.
But that's what I'm saying, and you have a good amount of men out here that have that mindset, like, oh, I gotta keep paying for everything, but I ain't getting nothing in return. Oh no, you do have that out here.
So you're raising a son. How are you combating that? Because that's facts, and that is something that's common. I'm not justifying it or saying that it's a healthy stereotype for men, but you being a mother raising a son, how are you teaching him at a young age that because you treat a woman well, you pay for things, you buy things, take her out, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to having sexual relations with her?
No, I would just tell him that that's not how you're going to treat and look at a woman like that. Being a gentleman, that's the first and foremost thing. You want to be a gentleman. And I think the things that you're going to expect from a woman should be a conversation and getting to know her instead of trying to just be physical with her. Because I think that's really important, especially
Right.
when you're dating somebody. Let's not jump to those, let's not jump automatically to the sexual part. Let's continue to keep learning. Let's continue to know the basics at least about one another, because a lot of relationships, they jump to the sex part. Like, let's be clear. They jump to the sex part and then they get in these relationships barely even knowing these people, and then next thing you know, you start seeing signs. You get what I'm saying? Because y'all already jumped to the sexual part.
Oh, you're getting in all the juicy topics. Okay, so you're a mother.
Don't get me wrong.
Because I think that it's very different when you are saying how you would approach something versus being a parent teaching a child how to approach something. So you being a mother, again, raising a son, how are you training him up, right? The Bible tells us to train up a child. How are you training him up when it comes to anything sexual? So let's be clear. What I'm speaking on is, do you have conversations with your son about premarital sex?
Yes, I have. And I had told him how there are consequences to that. And if he was smart and being responsible about it, I would prefer for him to wait.
To wait for what?
To have sex until he's married. I would prefer, but again, we're not with our kids 24/7. You know what I mean? And they will still make certain decisions based off how they will feel about it and if they feel they're responsible enough. But there are consequences to some of these choices that they choose to make, and especially when it comes to sex.
My answer about going Dutch while we're dating, me pay for the date. The only way I'm paying for the date is if I hit you up and said, let's go to X, Y, and Z. Because I initiated the whole date, which means that I don't know what your pocket's looking like, but I am pretty certain that I can cover what I'm offering that we should do together. So me personally, while we're dating, I ain't got no issue going Dutch with my boo. Like, come on now. We both can make whatever investment is needed for this relationship.
But that's me saying that. I didn't put him in your words, but I think it's nothing wrong with taking turns paying for a date. I don't think it's nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Now, what I do think is wrong is that when my boo suggests we go on a date, and then the bill coming, he looking at me
and he
like,
looking at me to pay. Now that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem. I feel like when we start making plans and saying, hey, can we go out for a date? I don't know. You got me wanting to question, be like, so it's your treat, right?
What? Y'all, this is Malcolm, my husband, in the background talking about something.
I can't give you the bill, though, babe.
You can't give me the bill.
We need to have a discussion before we even walk out the door, honey, and start getting dressed.
That part too. First of all, babe,
can we have that discussion?
We
first?
are married, so there's no such thing as Dutch anymore. We have all shared accounts. So I'm talking about how is it treating if it's coming out of both of our accounts? We both didn't went in on this. We went half on a baby, we going half on a bill. If it's anytime he pull out his card, I pull out my card as a married couple, and this is for Malcolm and I because we do the joint accounting. That's not everybody's thing. Oh my God, y'all. I've not had my hair straightened in I don't know how long. And you know, you got hit the Michael Jackson. You know, oh my God. Oh my God. How do you feel about shared accounts with your spouse? Like, is it unusual to have a shared account? Should it be a thing where there's like a house account, there's his account, there's my account? What works for your relationship?
We got both. We got our house account, and then we got our separate account for additional spending, if that's what we do. And for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, that's what works for our relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what works. You know, you got some people out here, they like, oh, girl, no, we gotta have it together. What's yours, mine, and what's mine is yours. It can still be ours, but it might be in a different account.
But y'all have access to each other's.
Yeah.
Do you think that not being open and transparent with finances can cause issues in a marriage?
Yes, I do.
In what way?
I think it would cause trust, a lack of trust, because to me, I feel like if you're hiding financial stuff from me, I feel like, how can I trust you with, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I trust you at all with financial stuff, dude? You know what I mean? Like, if I find this out, next thing you know, there's going to be a thought in my head like, is he telling me all the truth about the financial part? You know what I'm saying? It's going to have some doubt. It's going to have some worry. It's just, you know, that 100% trust that was there is not going to be there.
If you had an issue where you couldn't trust your spouse with money, meaning that they were overspending and now you've gotten to a place where you can't even pay for basic needs like mortgage, rent, car note, XYZ because they've overspent, would that be a reason you don't want to have intimacy with them or just like engage in quality time or touch or attention? Like, would that make you distant from your partner because they just weren't honest or just weren't really like, they just weren't trustworthy when it came to how they were dealing with
the honesty and also the trustworthy part, because now it makes me feel like, can I trust you with my body now?
So the money made you feel like you can't trust your man with your body. You kind of compartmentalize those things.
Yeah, because I just feel like it's trust all around the board. It's no different levels of trust when it comes to, you know, your relationship, your marriage, the communication, or anything like that. You have to make sure that you're honest about everything. And I think there definitely has to be conversations to be had when there is an ongoing thing, because that can affect, you know, your marriage. Because you're supposed to trust your spouse.
Oh, definitely. I think trust is essential, and I do think trust is universal. Okay. So,
like, if it was
hard for me to, if Malcolm were to do something in one area of our relationship, it would take a whole lot of prayer and fasting and wise counsel for me not to compartmentalize how I felt in regards to one area and it not affect another area. Like,
I feel like it would affect other areas, because with you not being honest about the financial part, again, it affects the honesty, the trust. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this type of way with my spouse. But if it was like something that happened one time, you know, I don't think it would affect. But if it was an ongoing thing where we in this situation like this frequently, there's a problem. There's a problem. And yes, it ends up making problems in other areas of your marriage.
So you know that the biblical vows that we hear at a lot of wedding ceremonies, I don't know if y'all said
better or worse, richer or poor.
Yeah, better or worse, richer or poor. Do you think that some people say those vows just because they sound good, meaning through thick and thin, you know, I'm there for whatever, and then when the actual thick and thin, better or worse, rich, poor part, when the poor part show up,
I can't do this.
Do you feel like what you experience from yourself or from others, it's like, it sound good, but when it really show up, I'm not about to stick around for the worst? Because God told us there will be worse times, there will be poorer times in our relationship. That doesn't define our future, nor does it negate his promises, but it's just seasons and trials.
I can't speak from everybody else, but I think everybody does have their tolerance level. Everybody has their
That was
tolerance
not
level.
in the Bible. Where is
Everybody
the
has
scripture?
everybody. Listen, you
Where's
want me
the
to be,
scripture
ma'am?
that's
You want me to be
crossed?
honest? You want me to be honest, and I'm going to be honest. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me. There has been times where I just be like, oh Jesus, like this is a lot, like, oh, like it keeps me, it got me speechless because I'm like, ooh, okay.
I'm a firm believer. Y'all know that I love the Bible, and I believe there's nothing new under the sun. I believe there is a scripture for every single thing. I don't care that it's 2021 and the Bible was written over 2,000 some years ago. I firmly believe there's a scripture for everything. So you brought up the word tolerance. So I just want to type tolerance in and see what scriptures come up for tolerance. Because, look, I looked up tolerance, and the scriptures that came up all talk about forgiveness. All talk about being gentle. All talk about being patient. Ephesians 4:2 says, be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Philippians 1:18. But what does it matter? God came with a question mark. But what does it even matter? Because I think a lot of times when it does come to tolerance, we have to backtrack and kind of pull receipts. Why have I reached this place where I'm saying I'm at my level of tolerance? So this scripture asks us, but what does it even matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motives or true motives, Christ is being preached. And because of this, we honor what he's taught us and we represent his kingdom. Okay? So I feel like some things Jesus is like, I get that you're human and you feel the way you want to feel, but if you chosen to walk with me, I got an answer for that too. And his answer is to be a reflection of who Jesus is. So again, I'm just wondering, when you read certain scriptures like this, do you feel like Jesus just don't get it? Or do you feel like I just need to grow in some areas then, because that ain't clicking for me right now?
I need to grow in some areas because it ain't clicking for me right now.
And he loves your honesty.
Like, I'm going to be honest. I'm definitely not going to sugarcoat it because
you never should.
I still have areas
God
that I
not scared of
struggle.
that though.
I still have areas that I struggle in, and every day is a learning experience.
But something that's so lit about God is that he's not offended. He is not a man. God does not have the same response
But
that
correct me if I'm
man
wrong. He
has.
knows what you're thinking before you even say it.
He knows what you're thinking before you say it. But this is what helps me over communicate in my marriage. You know, and I spend a lot of time with Malcolm. We both work from home. We're both together a lot. But what I will say is that what I'm learning in my relationship with God that helps me in my marriage is, yes, God knows all my thoughts. Yes, God knows my thoughts before I even think my thoughts. But in every relationship, there's a level of trust and increase in intimacy that is felt when you release things. And so when I choose to release what I know God already know I was thinking, especially things that recycle in my mind to a point where they weigh me down. And that's not saying I release it all to Malcolm. A lot of times I release it to God first, because he'll tell me that ain't even needed to be said to nobody else. Thank you for saying it to me. And we're going to leave it there because I got a solution. But in me over communicating even what I think to God, it's showing him that I trust him. And I believe it opens a pathway for him to send me in certain directions, in certain ways that kind of order my steps and show me how to respond to situations. Or it starts inviting people or resources into my life that help God answer what I'm struggling with. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, God know everything that we thinking, and that's why when you pray, you can pray in your thoughts and he still answers them. But I do think that's why Jesus even went away. Like, there are multiple times in the Bible Jesus went away to pray. He didn't have to go nowhere to pray. They had synagogues and stuff everywhere. He's Jesus. But he went away to pray because he knew some things that he needed to share could only be in private with the Father. And he was a child of God that I believe prayed out loud. Because it says in certain parts of the Bible they heard him praying. So I'm trying to be like Jesus. Like, I'm just trying to let it all out. Because I don't like heavy thoughts recycling in my mind. I really don't. I love being excited and happy and joyful. I love enjoying the people that I love. Like, I don't want to walk around and be irritated with Malcolm. It's like, no, I really don't at all. And I enjoy spending time with him. In order for me to do that, even in small things, is to first let it out to Jesus. Like, God, correct me if I'm wrong. God, reveal to me if I'm just tripping, if I'm harboring on the wrong thing, or God, change his heart. That's always my prayer, girl. I be like, God, change his heart. I'm like, put it in him so I ain't got to say nothing. And there'll be times Michael will bring things up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like God clearly gave him that thought. So, I'm just saying, it works for me. It might work for you. Put it to work. You just never know. Because God won't grant your desires. If we desire to have joy and excitement and peace in our home, we just gotta ask God how to get it.